Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the shop. So, I received, I hope, the last shipment of parts from CJ Pony Parts that I will need to complete this car. And I know I'm saying that out of turn, but basically, what helped me is a few months back, I think it was, maybe about 6 weeks, we shared a PDF on Joe Daddy's Garage live stream. And that PDF was the internal parts breakdown of the door. And in that, it showed a lot of the bushings and a lot of the rubber stoppers that I just didn't have. So I was able to order them. Now, as you can see, I also received my Monte Carlo bar, which is another thing I wanted to make sure I added to this car. So one of the nice things is, and again, this is just, you get lucky and put these cars back together. But basically, the X bracing and the Monte Carlo bar slipped right in. So that gives me a good feeling that at least the front end, after tearing it apart and putting it back together, is within spec. Because, like I said, when things just bolt right in, then at least you know you're close. But I have a word of warning. It really does take a long time to get these parts. I ordered that quarter window seal. You can see it on my cowl. That's for the driver's side. I ordered that 6-8 weeks ago, and it took that long to get here. It was all back ordered. So if you're planning on getting parts for your car, I would recommend you order them sooner than later, just so that you can get them when you need them. Hopefully I've gotten them, and hopefully I don't need any more parts. Well, let's take a look at that Monte Carlo bar a little closer. So as you can see, the Monte Carlo bar, the design of it is that it goes to both sides of the inner fenders and keeps the shock towers apart. That's really what its role is. And it utilizes the original bolts. And those bolts, there's 3 of them. You can see one now near the bottom. Those bolts are actually, what they're doing is they're going to the inner fender, but they're also coming out here because they bolt onto the spring guard. So that keeps, any issues from the spring happening. But basically, as I said, it utilizes the original bolts. It then allows me to drill 2 holes in the top. Now, the holes are pre-drilled into the Monte Carlo bar, but once you've put the side bolts in, you can then just use your drill and then just use the original holes and then just go through your fender. And of course, then I just used an extra couple of fender bolts. So again, very well done, fits right in. The only clearance issue I have is I had to cut an ear off of my air conditioning compressor. You can see the ear there. Well, that ear is gone. As you can see, I had to grind it down to get the clearance between the bar and the compressor. Now, as we all know, this is not a standard compressor for this car. In fact, this car did not have air conditioning. I've added it. So the fact that the Monte Carlo bar needed to be clearanced is not a surprise. But Monte Carlo bar is in. It's keeping the shock towers apart. In fact, when I installed it, it gave me a little bit of I had to really kind of force the one side down in order to get it in, which is good because that means the bar is already exerting pressure on the fenders, keeping them apart. Of course, we have the X bracing in. And yes, Barry, they are installed underneath the cowl, and that's how they're supposed to be, not on top. So we got the X bracing in, so let's put on the air cleaner, and I'm just going to show you the one other thing you have to worry about: clearance. Okay, the air breather is back on. I needed to push down on the snout here. The reason is because it was obviously interfering with the bar. I need to push down a little bit more because it is actually touching now, and I don't want it touching. So I need to push this down a little bit more. And as you can see, it exposed a little bit of material here that I was unaware of because it was sealed. So I'm going to continue to push this down. Then I'll take this all back off. I'll clean this all out. I'll make sure I rust treat it. And then I'll paint it, and then you won't even know, but that'll push that down. So what's the next step? Well, the next step is to make sure I get all the air conditioning plumbing in, make sure that's all routed through onto the compressor, which I've left alone. And then, like I said, once all that is done, I can seal the front end up, and we'll be ready to start thinking about paint. So where are we at this end of day? Well, the condenser's installed. It's not completely installed, but it's in where it's going to be. The dryer's there, the lines are put in. Of course, the lines coming off of the condenser come inside the engine bay. One immediately connects onto the compressor. It then comes out of the compressor, and from here it goes over to the heater boxes over on the left-hand side there. And now, one of the things that Barry over at Joe Daddy's Garage realized is that these hoses are long. And I guess they make them long because it's worse if they're short. But now that they're long, I either have to figure out how to route them so that they don't get in the way of everything, or B, I have to get them shortened. And I'm fighting with that right now, but we'll wait and see how that goes. Now, I went with the classic auto air, and I'll be honest with you, it works really easily. The brackets went in, I mean, 20 minutes and you're at this point, so no problem at all. But where are we now? Well, all of the panels have been sanded. So everything now is sanded with 320 dry. And all of the imperfections I found, all the pinholes, all the little craters have had red glazing putty put in them. And then after that, what I've done is I re-primed them and then re-sanded that. So I get a consistent gray everywhere. Hopefully that'll flow the base coat better, because if everything is consistently the same color, then hopefully the base won't show any imperfections and we will be ready to start painting. So I'm going to finish up the air conditioning hoses. I am then going to move the Mustang out of this area and actually just going to spin it sideways so we can move it up near the front door. And then literally what we're going to do is up here on the ceiling right next to the heater, we're going to strap the ceiling over to the sandblast cabinet is, and we are going to create a paint booth, and we're going to put plastic. I'm going to have some air filters in it. We all know that thing is ready to go. That really pulls a lot of air, and I hope that I can move air in my paint cabinet, and that way there we're going to get some good paint. So it's going to be, today's Wednesday. We got some beautiful weather up here. Probably not going to do anything for the next couple of weeks, next couple of days. Maybe next Monday we'll start working on the paint booth. So until then, hope you guys enjoyed the video and a quick update. If you did, hit that like button, and I'll see you soon.